Hello and welcome back everybody to If My Heart Had Wings, it would probably fly on some airwaves or something. I don't know, I already forgot how all of that works. Anyway, last episode we ate lunch with Kotori. We talked to Yuka about Kotori not working. And I'm still wondering why we haven't talked to anyone besides Kotori really in this house. It starts getting kind of weird. Oh well. So I accidentally skipped some lines last episode to flee from this weird noise that was going on, so let's reread them. The scorching sun comes shining in. Up on the roof, nothing to block the sunlight, it feels even more like I'm being burned. Today is hot as hell. I grumble as I wipe the sweat from my brow. It's already 7 o'clock. It's just before the peak of summer and the sun is finally shining at full strength. Today is Saturday, so there's no school. Now is my chance to get some of the dorm mother work done. This morning I've climbed up the roof and I'm fixing leaks. Jesus Christ, why are there leaks anyway? And this is not dorm mother stuff, this is like an actual professional work. This building is in pretty bad condition. Inside it looks like a mansion, but apparently it's in bad condition. I heard that the owner who collapsed a few days ago, and who was also the caretaker here, is an elderly woman. Because it was a girls' dormitory with no guys around, there were quite a few places that had been left damaged. This place is so old that I can't help wondering if originally it was aiming to be registered as a cultural heritage site. Probably a German one though, because this place doesn't look too Japanese. Yeah, I mean, he mentioned that it was like an old style, European style that this place was modeled after, but I wonder how old it actually is. The owner, who is a widow, opened the manor house as a student dormitory before I was born. Which means that when we are calling this place the Witch's Mansion, students from Keifu Academy were already living here. Since then, the owner had been taking care of the boarding students like they were her own children. Or grandchildren. However, since the redevelopment plans were brought forward, land prices in Kasegaura have been rising. The owner's sons were hoping to let go of this place, and that's one of the reasons why I was brought to take on the dorm mother's job in such a hurry. It might be hard to avoid getting involved in those kinds of adult matters, so I would just quietly get on with the work that I have to do. I hate shit like that. Because I really feel that living, actually just existing inside somewhere is really expensive these days. Not only in Japan, but in Germany as well. Like the only place you can, that are actually are affordable are in the countryside, and in the countryside there is no work. So you either drive an hour with the car every day or something to work, or you live an expensive life. And by the way, I don't have a car, so that is anyway out of the question. And I'm also not able to drive even if I had a car. Maybe I should pay someone to drive me. That would actually be very expensive though. Maybe with the money I save from living on the countryside I can pay a taxi every day, probably not though. Alright, that should do it. Finishing the repairs to the roof, I climbed down the ladder. Okay, next is killing the duck. I'd be a big fan to be honest. Hat, who was picking at the soil, had come closer to where I was going to put my feet as I climbed down. This is kind of besides the point, but ducks eat weeds and bugs, so it seems that if I just leave him to it, he will maintain the garden. And this is actually a fun fact. There are actually some kind of ducks that many people who have gardens take in to let them eat the snails. They are called like, what are they called again? Ducks. I forgot, but it's actually really fascinating. However, he will also peck at the flowers and so on too, so the person doing the gardening needs to watch out for that. What's up, Hat? Where's your buddy? I have no idea what he's saying, but he definitely looks bored. Sorry, but I've got work to do. When I get back, I'll give you a bath. The door to Kotori's room was closed. You know why I especially hate this duck? Because of the voice. In general, I hate these cute voices for animals. Like, that is why I kinda hated Botan too, a little bit. Also, that motherfucker always ran away. I couldn't hear any sound, and there were no signs that she was awake. Still asleep, huh, sleepyhead? Hey, Kotori. Wake up, Beauty. Hey, Miss Beauty. I'm going to do some shopping. Do you want to come with me? Her face seemed to say, if this was America and I suit you, you would lose. You're oversleeping. It's a nice sunny day, so let's go outside. It's shopping for the dormitory. You eat too, don't you? Usually she just eats her own Häagen-Dazs though. Hey, wait a minute, was that a big dog? That was a big dog on her bed, wasn't that? Ah, cool. She actually loves dogs. That is why she's trying to pet the big one. Seeing Ageha give a great big wave, Kotori makes an annoyed face. Hi, Ageha. This nearly looks like a swimsuit. Am I the only one? It's fine. There's something I need help with. I had planned from the beginning to meet up with Ageha. That's because I want her as a special advisor for today's work. Right, let's go. Why don't you like Ageha? Who doesn't like Ageha? We arrived at the underground street of the shopping mall. Like, really, I always feel like to be honest, I'm like a very, not a very, but I'm kind of a person that keeps to himself, to a certain degree at least. Like, it's not like I'm not socializing at all and stuff, but let's say breaking my barrier is sometimes a bit tougher than I actually intended to be. But, how are you unfriendly to Genki people like Ageha? Like, people who are just so friendly and outgoing towards you, you know? I mean, if they're annoying, I get it. There are Genki people who are annoying, who are like overly like here and there and here and cook and look and watch and see and whoa. But Ageha is not like that. So why are you mean to her? We arrived at the underground street of the shopping mall. There are many stylish shops in the shopping arcade, and there is also a large supermarket. I push Kotori along in a wheelchair and go around buying food with Ageha. What do we need? Ah, okay. Food. I get it. By the way, she also has a weird, like... She has a large chest, but also a small... She has kind of this one-piece aesthetic, let's put it like that. I'm not a big fan of the one-piece aesthetic, though. Kotori looks like she doesn't agree with the fact that Ageha is with us. She looks at me like she's trying to put a curse on me. I got Ageha to think of a menu for me. For tonight's dinner. Seems that the things that I make aren't the kind of things that girls like. Because you can carry the bags? Kotori is doing a good job of carrying the green supermarket basket. Ageha and I, well, that is really cute. Ageha and I keep slinging more and more ingredients into the basket.
Paprika powder, whole tomato, namahamu, それから 掘り込むな!
I'll get some mineral water. Just one bottle, that's a little...
ねえねえ、ポテチ 買っていい？
No. Oh, Pakuriman chips. I remember these.
ケチ、後でお金払うから一緒に入れといて。
She slings them in. Also, we'll soon be out of rice. Let's buy some while we're here. Oh shit, that is a Japanese rice bag if I ever saw one. With all of the ingredients for all of the borders, before we knew it, the basket that Kotori was carrying was full.
人をカートみたいにするな。
As she complained, Kotori was very careful not to let the contents of the basket fall out. Don't drop anything.
ハバネさんは欲しいものない？アイス。
Oh, actually, in Japanese you also call it ice. Today's shopping is being paid for with the operating costs of the dormitory, so we can't really buy things we don't need. Having said that, she is helping me out. You can get Bari Bari-kun. I suppose that is a Japanese ice brand, or at least a word play on it.
もっと高級なのがいい。労働と報酬が釣り合わないわ。
Have it your way. I decide to treat her to strawberry Hargen-Darch with my own money. Is this one okay?
そうだね。
I actually wanted to see it. Is she wearing trousers or what is she wearing? A weird kind of skirt, I suppose. Might as well be trousers, I can't tell. We finish at the cash register. The food costs about 50% more than usual, but tonight is a special occasion. Jeez. Forgot to buy a ground meat.
そんなの使わないよ。
It's for tomorrow. It's a pain to have to keep going to buy food all the time, you know. I leave them behind, especially on Corona days. Buy all your shit at once. I leave them behind and go back to the store. I search for the meat in the ground meat section. If I can, I want to get one with a discount sticker. As I thought, there aren't any this time. The cost for the boarder's food is paid on a monthly basis. The dormitory is run as kind of a hobby by the owner, so it's just a rough estimate. But there is an upper limit established as part of the rent agreement. The dormitory's meals follow the creed of as cheap as possible, as tasty as possible. You know, I had Jesus fucking Christ, I can't come up with the word for Wirtschaft. In German it's Wirtschaft. In English it's economy. There we go. I had economy classes, and there is the minimal principle and the maximum principle. Maximum principle is you put as much in as possible to get as much possible results as possible. And the minimum principle is you put in as little effort as possible to basically just get to the goal. This, what you say, is absolutely impossible, and it is sad that you expect that. Because there are many employers who also expect that, and I hate it. I look at the packs of beef that are lined up on the shelf. 2,098 yen for 100 grams. This is a supermarket that celebrity women come to, so sometimes the prices for the ingredients are pretty steep. Where do you live? It's okay once in a while, so I'd like everyone to eat this kind of meat. I murmur to myself.
これでいいのかな？
Oh, no person. A girl reaches across from the side and slings the luxury marbled 2,980 yen for 100 grams meat into her basket.
これじゃ足りないかな。ビーフカレーっていうくらいだもんね。
The girl who took the pack showed signs of hesitation, but continued to sling more and more of the luxury marbled meat into the basket. In the end, she took everything that was on the shelf.
これでよしっと。
Are you going to use luxury marbled beef in a curry? Not only that, it's thinly sliced.
What?
I was supposed to have said that on the inside, but because of the shock, I came right out of it and said it out loud. I mean, if you're making curry, they have meat for curry over here, see?
そんな大きいのカレー食べるときに見ないですよ。
Well, when you stew meat this size, it becomes more tender and much smaller. If you use that kind of thin meat, the fat will melt away and you won't have a trace left of it. In her basket was about 1 kilogram of marbled meat to be used in sukiyaki. Are you going to stew all of that in a curry? What a waste of good meat.
えっと
As I stare at the basket, she looks at me in disbelief. She seemed embarrassed as she said that and moved over to the fresh fish sections. Did I scare her off? Probably.
シーフードカレーっていうのもあるんだし、お魚も買った方がいいかな。
She said as I watched from a distance. As I watched from a distance her throwing sea bream, with the head and tail still on, into the basket, while I reached for a peck of the cheap pork and beef ground meat. Oh, I wonder who that is. Apparently it's rich girl who never cooks by herself or something like that. So we get introduced to new characters even though we don't actually know the old ones yet. That's also kind of curious.
おいしい。ハバネさん、ストロベリー派なんだ。私はクッキー&クリームかな。
Yeah, I'm on Ageha's side.
そう。おいしい？もちろんよ。ねえ、嫌よ。まだ何も言ってないんだけど。一口だけでいいから。やあよ、スプーン一つしかないんだから。いいじゃん、女同士なんだから。やったらやあよ、ケチンボ。わかったわよ、一口だけよ。
But an eating spoon, a small spoon. Jeez, I should give German lessons. Eating spoon, Esslöffel. No, wait, I just remembered. I told nonsense in the last episode. No, wait, how many episodes was this ago? An eating Löffel, ein Esslöffel, is actually the same as a soup spoon, a Suppenlöffel. It's the same. What is the small one called again? Esslöffel und Teelöffel. Teaspoon. Ah, fuck it. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. I hope nobody who speaks German watches that video. I feel so fucking embarrassed I don't even speak my own language.
ハバネさん、ありがとう。私のハーゲンダッツが。おちー。
What are you doing? I'd finished paying and had come back, and Kotori was letting Ageha eat her ice cream. I felt like I'd seen something I wasn't supposed to see.
これは違うのよ。この子がどうしても食べたいって言うから、一口だけ食べさせてあげただけで。
Yeah, I also start feeling like I'm seeing things I'm not supposed to see because everyone is treating food like it's some kind of food porn or I don't know. I see. Well, it's nice that you're getting along.
違うったら。ストロベリーもいいな。ねえねえ、もう一口。
Has anyone ever said in their whole life to an old person older than 7, I'm happy to see you two get along?
もう終わり。だって私の分がなくなるもん。
Blushing as she spoke, Kotori continued to wolf down the Hagendorch. Okay, let's go. Here, take this back. Bam.
重いんだけど、私も手伝うよ。アイスのお礼。ね
I push Kotori's wheelchair and we leave the shopping mall.
え、これどうやって切るの？
Oh, she's helping with cooking. Oh, that's also a thing she could be helpful at. That's true. Pass that to me. I'll show you how it's done. Her face seemed to say I get annoyed when people get on their high horse as she obediently passed me the knife. I mean, is he on a high horse? But I guess she fears that he'll be on the high horse. Sometimes she's a little too soon for my taste, I gotta say that. I'm on Team Ageha as of now. In a way that Kotori could see easily, I cut the vegetables. Like this.
こっちのピーマンは
Wouldn't it be best to cut it in half down in the middle?
わかった。やってみる。
We had come back to the dormitory and had begun cooking in the dining hall. I got Kotori, who couldn't reach the stove, to cut the vegetables. I'm cooking while Ageha helps and tells me how to do it. Hey, this is pretty easy.
でしょ？野菜切って鶏もも肉と一緒に煮込むだけだもんね。
Potatoes. Mash them. Put them in a stew. Forgot something. Oh well. I don't even know why I'm thinking of potatoes. Probably because I'm German. Said Ageha, who had brought the recipe. Basque-style chicken soup. Jesus fucking Christ. This is how you eat chicken in Basque land. Okay. I couldn't guess what kind of food it would be from just... It would be just from the name. I couldn't guess what kind of food it would be from just the name. Okay, I see. But it is really easy to make. First, you'll grill the chicken thighs, then fry them with the cut vegetable, and after that add the canned tomato and broth and leave it to stew. It's a stew that doesn't need to be done precisely. That's the main dish. Next we prepare the salad and the soup. I feel like eating a stew and a soup is a little bit weird. Even as Hat walks around her feet, quacking, Kotori doesn't seem to notice, as she is quietly immersed in what she's doing. She's really concentrating.
案外熱中するタイプだね。
Despite complaining at first, once she gets started, she becomes very serious.
均等に切るのは至難の技ね。
Well, it doesn't need to be exact. If there's variety in the thickness, it gives a difference in texture.
不均等に切るのね。わかったわ。
She said as she thought about this and that and started intentionally cutting the vegetables unevenly. I guess that is what people look like when they get serious. Yeah, it's also, if you just can't, if you need to be 100%, I guess. It's either uneven or even. There is no, sometimes it's even, sometimes it's not. I guess that is also what they call uneven. A philosophical question. Is there a... Like, I guess there is an even if, like, say you cut something in 10 pieces and 5 are the same size and the other 5 are not. I guess you would call the 5 that are the same size the even ones and the other ones uneven. But there are some even ones. Or is everything automatically uneven if not everything is the same size? Questions, questions, questions. Ageha, how does the soup taste to you?
ちょっと薄いかな。
I'll add salt and pepper. And so the preparations for dinner continued smoothly.
わあ、美味しそう。
Finally. I mean, you always eat my shit, so your opinion is not important. But I mean, finally, we're seeing some people. I'm really so curious about the other attendants in this house. The shy one we haven't even really seen yet, and Yuka. I wonder why Yuka is so shy around him. One after another, the boarders came into the dining hall, and seeing the food on the table and how different it was to usual, they were surprised at first. There is a general idea of meal times for the boarders. I usually make meals at the same time, and the time that everyone comes to the dining hall is not really set. It's okay if you come late, and it's okay if you don't eat. That's why we often eat at different times. This is the first time since I came here that we've all gathered at the same time like this. Today was the only time that I told them in advance. Okay, everyone, please take a seat. You too, Ageha.
お邪魔します。なんかすごいね、今日のご飯。ねえ、もう食べていい？お腹ペコペコなんだけど。
The boarders, looking at each other, cautiously moved the food towards their mouths.
おいしい。
I wonder why they are in a frame. Wasn't Yuka wasn't when we only met her. Yuka wasn't in a frame, was she? I'm just wondering because maybe they're not as important. Maybe whoops. When my keyboard doesn't fall down, my mouse falls. I'm just wondering if they're maybe just side characters and that's why they're never appearing. I can hear the word delicious coming from the boarders. What is... It's true, it really is tasty. Basque-style chicken stew. It was the one that had made it, but I didn't... whoops, I was the one that had made it, but I didn't know how it would taste, and I imagined that it wouldn't be very good. It was different to the Western or Chinese food that I usually make, and that I normally don't use spices that make it easy to understand the flavor. The meat stewed in the tomato soup was tender and was surprisingly refreshing. Most importantly, the flavor of the meat had really been drawn out, so I had no complaints at all about the taste. It's the kind of thing that you eat on a hot summer's day, when you don't have much of an appetite. Those days are unknown to Kanako though. The salad served in a big bowl was divided between everyone. There were cucumbers, tomatoes and lettuce, and also avocado and mozzarella cheese in a salad. To each their own, I guess. Even though it was just an elaborate salad, again, the reaction was... Ryoko, who is in the 2nd grade, like me, and also Sanae, the 3rd year with the trademark classes, both seemed to really like it. Everyone made a face that kind of showed they knew that. The truth is that today's meal was made under the advice of Miss Himegi here. By the way, it seems that Ageha and Ryoko were friends from before. Yeah, she just called her Ageha. The thing is, it seems the food that I made didn't really go down too well with everyone. Apart from Kanako, all of the boarders looked away for a moment, awkwardly. Yeah, and you should be ashamed. By the way, now they're not in the frame anymore. But like, I really don't get it. Like, what is wrong with his food? He makes pasta. Like, what are you... didn't they say, like, the motto at Flying Fish Hotel, or whatever it is called, is simple and easy and cheap? I guess a Japanese grandma cooks differently than a young boy, but still, like, it's fucking pasta or it's fucking meat. Just... Jesus. I don't get it. That's why, if there's something you want to say, please talk to me about it, okay? It's a little scary, but I thought I'd try to talk to them about it. Like, I'm getting kinda angry. Am I the only one? It sure is. There's red, green, yellow and white and many other colors that look vivid and colorful. Jesus. Why does food need to be colorful? The food I usually make is ginger pork, brown, yeah. Fried rice, brown. Curry, yellow. Yakisoba, brown. Neapolitan pasta, red. And so on, but it's all basically comprised of a single color. Yeah. So... Thank you. If there is a Kanako, I'll marry this woman. Just for the fact that she likes my food. You can... In German we say lying in the pocket. I don't know why we say that, but you can lie yourself in your own pocket.
途中で飽きちゃう。
Everyone is really kind, aren't they? They really care about my feelings. Just because of that, I was unnecessarily worried. For a guy like me who went to sports-focused boys' school and lived together with his dad in a kind of bachelor pad, that was always enough. I never even thought about the color of food. Am I being... by the way, fun fact, I looked at the statistics of my YouTube channel the other day, and for the last 28 days, as of me recording this, the demographic is 100% male. So welcome to the ultimate Wiener Fest here at GLPs. But since you're all guys watching this, you can relate, right? Food doesn't need to have color, it has to taste like food. Somehow it seems that in the girls' cemetery that kind of thing is
で
important.
もこれ本当に美味しいよ。おかわりしたくない。
No! It's going into the bento tomorrow, you all don't deserve this. Everyone seems satisfied except me. It feels like this is the most they've opened up to me so far. If I'm going to say it, now is my chance. Can I just say something? I stand up and get everyone's attention. Please listen as you eat. This is about the border's chores. Would it be alright to increase them a little? I'm a student too, so it's pretty tough for me. For example, if I could just get you guys to clean the bathroom, that would really be a big help. Everyone looked at each other as if they were trying to figure out what the others were thinking. To be honest, no one's going to be happy about increasing their chores. But...
わかった。
as Yuka, the oldest, responded, the others nodded in agreement.
水瀬くんが大変なの見ていてわかってるから。実はちょっと気になってました。屋根の雨漏りも直してくれたしね。
In return, I will try harder than ever to make good food for you.
こんな美味しいご飯毎日食べられるんだ。
You can piss up a rope every day.
いいなあ、涼子。私もここに住もうかな。それだけでいいの？
That and one other thing. This is what I really wanted to say. I think that we should get Kotori to do some things too. Kotori, who was sitting at the end of the table, the furthest away from everyone, who looked uncomfortable while she ate, was surprised to hear her name called. Everybody looked around at Kotori.
でも、ハバネさんは
She has a walking disability, but she can use her hands. There are things that she can do.
今日の料理だって。あなたたちが無理やり付き合わせただけよ。
This had a big impact on everyone, who until just now had been eating the food and saying how delicious it was. They looked at her like they were impressed, but Kotori seemed kind of embarrassed. Thanks to Kotori helping us, we were able to get the dinner preparations done easily. If that is the case, then maybe we can add another chore. I don't dislike cooking, but to prepare food for several people is physically quite demanding. If that's okay with Kotori, could you help me prepare the meals?
別にいいけど、そのくらいなら。
Thank you. Wow, that was actually easier than expected. And kind of reasonable too. I say while Kotori looks away and quietly nods without saying anything. It's a little different to the other chores, but in order to avoid being unfair from now on, I want Kotori to help out where she can. Yeah, I mean, isn't that like kinda... I'm still kinda like... I guess it's Japan, I don't know how up-to-date... Japan is sometimes very conservative, so I don't know how up-to-date they are on inclusion of disabled people. But having disabled people do chores is nothing that special, I feel like. Everyone still had their reservations about the whole thing, so for now, they just quietly looked at each other. Even so, until now, Kotori and the other boarders had quite a distant relationship. However, I'm the one who understands the situation the least. Or rather, the one who understands it the most. Kanako raised her hand, and then the others followed.
それができるんならすごくいいと思うわ。私もそう思います、ゆかさん。私 からちょっと変だなって思ってました。
So from tomorrow, let's do our
こち
best.
らこそよろしく、寮母さん。
小鳥ちゃんもよろしくね。
Kotori was moody until the end, but she kept herself from shouting abuse at me, which I know she's good at and seemed to understand what I was trying to do. Yeah, get her involved and stuff. Makes a lot of sense. The day's still not finished? Let's keep going. This episode might be very overlong, but hey. Thanks for today, Ageha. You really helped me out.
いいって。葵が困ってる時、私が助ける。普通なことでしょ。
Head came waddling from down the corridor.
おお、アヒルさん、どうしたの？見送りに来てくれたの？わが。
Head flapped his wing towards Ageha. Maybe he's saying thanks for helping Kotori. Those are his feeling as her housemate.
じゃあ、部屋に戻ったら伝えて。今日は楽しかったねって。わー。
The way he replied made it seem like he completely understood what Ageha had said, and Head wiggled his tail as he waddled off.
かわいい。
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like his head, but except for that. Okay, take care on your way back.
またね。ハット、どこ行ってたの？はい、おやつのキュウリ。ねえ、聞いてハット。今日ね、私ご飯作るの手伝ったのよ。
I really like the melody. It's the one from the beginning, isn't it? It actually really works as a silent tune too. I'm quite surprised because it was so bombastic, but it really works this way too.
鶏肉のなんとか煮込みって言うんだけど、みんな美味しいって言ってた。私も食べたけど本当に美味しかったの。すごいでしょ。もうすぐ今日が終わっちゃう。楽しかったな。
Well, at least she's coming a little bit out of her shell, lowering her shields and stuff. Like as mentioned, I kind of feel like she's sometimes a little bit very soon and a little bit too little daddy. But she's not completely unlikable or something. She's not a very annoying tsundere or something like that. And she, you know, I wonder where all of this came from. I guess it started before she joined this school. Or maybe it only started, I don't know. I guess we'll learn about that later, but it's good on Aoi that he's actually trying to integrate her into the group. And it's kind of sad that nobody actually was able to do that up until now. I mean, Ageha tried, but apparently she only reached the opposite. Oh well. Let's hope for the best for her future, which we will see in the next episodes. So, thank you everybody for watching. Come back, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.